was so excited! I was 5 years old, and for the very first time in my life, I was playing with real playground equipment. I went down the slide, I went back and forth on the swings, I went up and down on the seesaw and around on the carousel. I never wanted the fun to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I grew up in a violent, abusive, alcoholic home, both parents alcoholics. As the oldest of 3 children, I took it upon myself to take the lion's share of the beatings in order to protect my brother and my sister. My fun came to an abrupt end when a teacher called me into the classroom for the very first time. There, I was given a paper and pencil test. I paid no attention to the directions. I wanted to go outside and play, so I just randomly marked the paper. The consequence to me was a diagnosis of educably retarded. For the next 10 years, I would sit in the back of the classroom, facing the back wall. This left me open to every form of ridicule, bullying, name-calling. Gary Retardo comes painfully to mind, and being made the butt of every joke by students, and far too often, teachers. Just before my 11th year in school, my family moved to a brand new town. They hadn't heard about me yet. Can you imagine my confusion when I walked into the classroom and there wasn't a desk at the back of the room? The teacher called the attendance roll and then invited me to take a seat in the very front, and there open my book and read from one of the pages. I did not know how to read. To get myself out of this embarrassing situation, I said a few colorful phrases that would have made a sailor blush. And I was promptly dismissed from the classroom and sent to the headmaster's office. And there I waited. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, the teacher reappeared. She asked me to accompany her back to the classroom, and I went with her. On the chalkboard, she had signs, symbols, and sequences, and she asked me to simply duplicate them. I did the best that I could. When I got done, she looked at me and said, "You're very clever. Just dyslexic." I corrected her. "Excuse me, I am educably retarded and I cannot be taught." That petite, 5.5 stone, 5 foot tall woman suddenly just began to grow and grow and grow. Lightning shot out of her eyes and her voice thundered as she pointed at me and said, "Young man, don't you ever let another person's opinion of you determine the outcome of your life." She said it with such power and authority. It was like a giant fist just punched me squarely on the nose. All resistance melted. She taught me on her own time. We started with Janet and John, and she took me through Tolstoy's War and Peace. I wrote a 20-page essay on War and Peace, and she taught me simple mathematics. And every time the going got tough, every time I wanted to quit or go back to what I knew, she would look at me and say, "Never give up." And I didn't. 3 weeks before school ended, Mrs. Sparrow and her husband, driving between the borders of Arizona and California, drove through one of the many seemingly dry riverbeds and were killed in a flash flood incident. I never got an opportunity to properly thank her. Because of her, I was able to go on to university. I received a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in counseling, and a doctorate in divinity. I have helped thousands of people individually and tens of thousands indirectly to better improve their lives. Every time the going got tough, every time I wanted to give in and the maddening crowd told me to. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, in my life, those numbers are legion. I would hear her voice ringing down through the years. Never give up, and never let another person's opinion of you determine the outcome of your life. And so thank you, Mrs. Sparrow. Thank you.